the fitness, baby.
Yeah, Worlds this year was a bit of a weird one for me. It was kind of two contests in one, obviously with the heats and the final. My goal going into the Worlds this year was to get top 5, which unfortunately I didn't achieve. There's lots of positives for me. You know, I did not perform well in the heats. I battled with some illness at the start of the week when I got there, which wasn't ideal. The final was a lot better, you know, a good event win for me, my first event win in the final at Worlds. Just kind of run out of steam at the end there. So yeah, I'm really happy with my 6th place. But I just know there was more there, so something to work on. So I mean, when I got there, actually, when we landed and we got to the hotel, I had kind of like a fever, and you know, I was convinced myself I'd got COVID, and I thought, well, that's my world's done. It was sweats, headache, couldn't eat for a couple of days properly, so I ended up dropping like 5 kilos in body weight, which wasn't ideal. And I definitely felt it in the heat, so I was just kind of like 1 rep off where I should be, and a little bit slower on certain events. You know, it might not have made a huge difference to the heats, but yeah, definitely noticed I just wasn't feeling at my peak for those events, which are usually really strong for me. So the COVID restrictions really, in terms of my prep, didn't really affect me that much. Training at home, I've got my own gym, which is like a huge advantage for me. So training actually felt really good. The restrictions when we got out there was a little bit different. It kind of throws you a little bit when you're getting like COVID tested every day. Adds that extra little bit of stress, and you're worrying about whether you're going to fail a test and be kicked out of the contest. And everything kind of ran a little bit slower this year than it usually would, just because obviously we're trying to make sure everything's kind of safe for all the athletes and staff and camera crew, etc. So yeah, the contest was definitely affected, but yeah, my prep was pretty much as per. If 2020 and COVID's not enough to deal with, we had to deal with the hurricane coming in, and it pushed the contest back a day. With a Class 1 hurricane we were kind of involved in, which can only happen at Worlds, it can only happen this year. For the first time ever we were pushed inside, which was completely different than I've ever competed at Worlds. Obviously it'd be my 5th time, it was brand new. It definitely affected everyone a little bit more. You know, we were ready to go on that Wednesday morning, and to be told, obviously, no, it's off, we're going to have to go tomorrow. And then the guys having to scramble to get the indoor venue sorted. It was just a lot of unknowns. We were going to bed not knowing what time we had to wake up in the morning to compete, which is incredibly difficult. But you know, I do believe it couldn't be avoided, because we didn't have everything nailed down, because we were in a really unique situation. And it was hugely different, obviously. Competing indoors for the first time at Worlds. You know, yes, we've done that before at Giants Live, but you know, it was different doing it at World's Strongest Man, and with no crowd as well. It was strange. The crowd sometimes really get you up for some events as well. You know, but look, there's never a huge crowd at Worlds. It's just the nature of how it is. So I don't think it was too different, but you definitely noticed when you're out there competing that you're kind of on your own, and there's no one there to give you that kind of extra little bit of energy. Yeah, for me, you know, there's some clear areas that I really need to improve on. My grip is one of them. Ever since I tore this bicep on my left side, this grip just seems to give out a little bit early. I need to really work on this left-handed grip. And the other is just the continuation of improving my log press. It's still a weak event for me, it needs to improve. And it's just finding that kind of magic formula to improve it. You know, yes, it's going up, but I mean, I need to get over into that 200 kilo log press club to be competitive. So I leave for Shore Classic on Wednesday, and it's a really unique competition, the first time we've had something like this, and Brian's done a great job putting it on. I'm really looking forward to it, especially because it gives me a chance to do one of the events that I've always really wanted to do in the Hummer Thai deadlift. Yeah, the Arnold Classic year on year, and it's an event I've always wanted to do, and not being able to compete at the Arnold, you know, up until now or whatever, it's kind of a great opportunity to go out and have a play on that bit of kit. Yeah, definitely. That's my big goal for this year, is to make sure at the end of Britain's Strongest Man that they're announcing my name and saying, and still, you know, Britain's Strongest Man. That's huge for me. I'm looking to repeat the title, and it's going to be tough. You know, we've shown that the strength and depth in Britain at the moment is crazy strong. You know, obviously with Tom getting on the podium at Worlds, and Hicksy, Luke Richardson coming up. You've got Luke Stoltman as well. You know, it's a great time for British strongman, and I'm going to make sure that I'm winning the title in probably what's going to be described in the future as the most competitive era. So I mean, look, there's no rest for the wicked next year because of the COVID restrictions this year. We've got comps packed in. So probably have my busiest year competing. What with Europe's strongest man, Britain's strongest man, world's strongest man, strongman classic at the Royal Albert Hall. Some various different competitions with World Ultimate Strongman. It's going to be a crazy season. A lot of competitions, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. A chance to compete in different locations and different events. It's going to be great. Pepsi Max for me, yeah. So the non-sugar version. Got to look after yourself. Dogs. Can't stand cats. I'm definitely a dog man. We're gonna end up having like a whole dog menagerie at home, I reckon. Small dogs, yeah. It's just natural. I think people have seen my dogs before. Tiny little things. Rugby, I've played rugby all my life. Never been involved in football, so that's an easy answer. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm a steak man, especially a ribeye steak. It'll be medium rare. Everything else will be rare. You've got a real steak connoisseur when they're changing the grade for the ribeye.
Oh, okay.
People in the know will know. Dairy milk.
See, I disagree completely on that one.
Well, you're from Birmingham. You should be like Cadbury's. Jesus, they just taste better. I'm not a Galaxy man. I'm a big fan of Cadbury's chocolate, or it's like a Whisper. That's the king of all chocolate bars in my opinion. Oh God, me either. I don't think I'd fit in either. I did once try and fit into a friend of mine's Lamborghini, and it was quite a squeeze. If I was a little bit lighter and maybe after strongman, I'd probably go for a Ferrari. Coffee. Yeah, drink a lot of tea, drink a lot of both, but for me, I'm a caffeine fiend. I need it'll pick me up in the morning, an hour later, 2 hours later after that. So yeah, coffee all the way. Afternoon person. So my missus is a morning person, and it makes me sick. Because if we're driving to work together or whatever, like she'll want to talk to me. I just need to have a good couple of hours of silence before I kind of wake up properly and get into my day. Easy answer for that. Probably a deadlift. Yeah, like both. Big fan of squatting as well. It's my kind of first love, but deadlifts come through and there's taking that title. Now it's tough, but I think probably the figure of 8 straps is what I'm using the most at the moment. I've pulled some big deadlifts on that, and yeah, they're solid as hell. So yeah.